Basketball. It's your man, 100 grand. Ross with the Rock never stops. Man, it's another day. It's another beautiful day out here in the Bay. I wanted to get in this video real quick because, shit, why not? Talk some Detroit basketball. I'll wait for folks to jump up in here. Um, yeah, this is a nice little beautiful day. I'm about to go out for a little bike ride, getting some breakfast or something after this. Well, I mean it's later, so like a little brunch. Shit. Let's dive into this. Man, I've been saying that I'm gonna talk some draft content soon. I'm probably overdue for getting us kick started in that. Um the summer is here. Maybe that's what this energy is because the sun's shining through. It's gonna be 80 something degrees out here in the East Bay, Northern California. Um and Yeah, man, it's summertime. It's summertime. The Detroit Pistons have had a fantastic year. They've had a fantastic year. Didn't end probably how they wanted to, but seeing the Knicks go on and go up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics, I think it lets you further know just how close these Detroit Pistons are. I don't think so close that they need to go all in. I don't think moves like Julius Randle that some people have suggested are the right moves. I think that this summer is about really I don't want to say how I'll put it like this. Sometimes when you spend a lot of time on a project and you see it really coming to fruition, you got to sit back and enjoy the sunshine. You got to sit back and enjoy what you have created. And I think that that's what this offseason needs to be. It doesn't need to be, oh, let's hurry up and situate ourselves to be able to contend. This is our window. I've been telling y'all it's 2 years out. It's 2 years out. I think that they have created the foundation for something. And I think that they can rest on that. That whatever they do needs to build on this foundation. It doesn't need to be something new, right? Like one of the reasons why Julius Randle doesn't work is because this team is centered around being selfless, moving the ball around, trusting your teammates, great chemistry, continuity, guys playing for one another. That is not Julius Randle. That is not Julius Randle. He's physical. He can score. He can get downhill. A lot of things that we would hope to have in a complimentary big man next to uh, Jalen Duran for the foreseeable future. But it's the other intangibles. It's the things that really made this team go. What really made this team great, it wasn't just the talent that they had. Cade Cunningham, all NBA, Asar Thompson playing like first team all defensive, player of the year, defensive player of the year candidate type of play. It wasn't just Jaden Ivey breakout in the first half of the season, looking like he could be the de facto 1B, not a number two, 1B, not Robin to Cade's Batman. I'm talking about Captain America next to Iron Man type of deal. Avengers out here. And so when you look at that type of talent, you would think that they just basically blew through you because of the talent, but that's not the case. This team was so successful because of the continuity and how they gelled together. JB Bickerstaff got incredible buy-in. You got these guys believing in one another, trusting one another, empowering one another, not letting each other get down on themselves when they would have a bad game, a bad stretch. Remember Tim Hardaway Jr. Against the Miami Heat, he had a horrible second half, pretty much lost us the game until we luck out, get into overtime, and then they encouraged Tim Hardaway Jr. only to see him win the game for us in overtime. This was the type of team that we've had all season. A team that rallies around one another, especially in hard moments. I think after last season, that was probably one of the things that they addressed in the locker room, you know, off tip. Like, yo, uh, how do we rally around each other? How do we support each other? How do we come together with genuine friendship, supporting each other? And that's what we saw. Whoever we bring in has to be somebody of that ilk. They have to be the type of guy that in a dogfight they don't turn on you. They don't start yelling at you, tearing you down because these are also young guys. You know what I mean? Like these are also 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds figuring it out in the league for the first time. You don't need somebody in there who's gonna be a discontent, malcontent in the locker room. You know what I mean? So the Detroit Pistons need to build off of that culture of coming together, playing for one another, um, and I think that they will benefit from that. I truly, and I've been saying this, the core that is going to make this team a championship contender is already here. They are already on this team. We don't need to go out and get somebody to take us to the next level. Those guys are already here. Cade's ascension took us to that next level, 6th seed in the playoffs. Ivy's ascension next season will take us into that conversation of knocking on the door for a championship. Asar's ascension is going to move us into being a championship contending team. Jalen Duren's ascension might win us that championship. And I'll leave it as simple as that. Those four alone, playing at their peak, and not even at their peak, they will be ascending. But the steps that they take in terms of confidence, are going to be the major steps that creates a team that's able to compete with anybody. Anybody. What's good, Tony? What's good, my man? Yeah, you caught me, brother. I'm glad you did, man. I'm glad you did. Um, yeah, man. I'm a little overdue to getting started in this draft content, so we're gonna talk about a little bit of that as folks roll up in here. Just setting the foundation of what I think this summer is going to be about. It's building off the foundation. Guys who are selfless, guys who play for one another. Hopefully, more guys who are two-way players because we saw that kind of rear its head in these playoffs. Um, and really just doubling down on what they've built, on what Troy Weaver and Trajan Langdon have built. Troy, Troy paid the price to build this. I'm gonna be 100% with y'all. He paid the price. He took the risks. People don't think it was a risk. They act like Cade Cunningham was a no-brainer. He was not. He was not a no-brainer. Go back to that draft. People were really looking at Jalen Green. He's an extremely talented player coming in as a rookie. They were looking at ceiling, potential ceiling, and he had a crazy ceiling. He still does. He still does. There's still more than likely a chance at only 23 years old, he's going to ascend to be a top 3 scorer in the NBA over the next 5 seasons. I think Cade will still be better than him, but I'm just saying. Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, right? And I would say not as much Scotty Barnes, but Evan Mobley for sure, who looks like the next Tim Duncan slash Garnett slash all-time great big, right? Especially in a defensive uh, drought. I would say a defensive lacking NBA where you don't have great defensive bigs. You don't have other bigs to really contend with. When you have one, when you have a great one, you just stand out apart from everyone else. I would say his ascension, people want to give it to Kenny Atkinson. Evan Mobley's natural ascension in year 4 was the reason for them being the number 1 seed. We see the difference with him out, down 0-2 to the Indiana Pacers, right? That's how much of an impact Evan Mobley can have on the team. So it was a real conversation in that draft. It was a real conversation with Jaden Ivey in his draft. It was a real conversation who we were going to go after. Grabbing Jalen Duren, moving up to grab Jalen Duren. These are all incredible moves that were done, even if he whiffed on guys like Killian Hayes, who you weren't able to really work out because of COVID. It was what it was. You have guys that were whiffed on. I wouldn't even say it was a whiff when you look at brother out of Villanova. What's his name with the Washington Wizards right now? You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Came in and he was a great shooter. In fact, I almost kind of wish we still had him on this team, if I'm honest with y'all. But I understood why he traded to try to bring James Wiseman in here. I understand because you see double bigs is becoming the new faux pas here. Like everybody's doing double bigs now. Yeah, Sadiq Bey, right? So Troy really paid the cost to reset a team, to restart. Nobody really, that is not an easy job to do. You want to know how hard it is? Go ask Charlotte. Go ask Charlotte. Thought they had their franchise guy in LaMelo Ball. Thought they had somebody in Miles Bridges. You want to know how hard it is to restart? Go look at Washington. Still rebuilding after John Wall. Still trying to figure it out. That shit is hard, y'all. That shit is hard. It is not easy. It is not easy. Just ask, right? The process. The process. Chose the wrong one for the process. Chose the wrong one. Right? They got an MVP out of him. Never got past the second round. Giving him a what, $500 million contract, $300 million, whatever. Right? Locked in. So these things we have to think about when we think about this offseason. Troy Weaver, I have to give him his props. He blessed us with this core. Choosing Asar Thompson over Jarris Walker, looks like a stud in Indiana. You're starting to see it. I told y'all when I was doing draft content 2 off seasons ago, that's who I wanted Detroit to get. I said Jarris Walker is going to be the next Draymond / Jimmy Butler. Like he's going to be a beast out there, and now we're seeing it. Um, but he still chose Asar Thompson, which I believe was the correct pick. Now, in hindsight, shout out Troy Weaver. He even had a hand in pointing out a Ron Holland. Brought in Marcus Sasser. Like, yo, I got nothing but respect for him. You don't have to hit 100%. Nobody hits 100%. Sam Presti, who everybody lauds for being a great front office exec, does not hit on every draft pick. So let's just get that argument out the window. All that's to say is this summer is about building on this foundation. This summer is about not trying to bring in anybody to save this team, to be Cade's number 2. He has that. He has his number 2. He has his number 3. He has his number 4. The vets Troy chose at first might have worked. Yeah. Yo, facts. But really, I think those vets, you have to understand, like when you're a rebuilding team, not a lot of vets want to go there. You can only bring in the vets that are willing to sign with you. And you might overpay for some, but you still want to maintain cap flexibility. So that's kind of a hard line to teeter on. Really, the major thing that upended them was vets who were just at the end of their careers, who couldn't stay healthy. Danilo Gallinari, what's his name? The stretch center. I forget his name. Um, Guys like Joe Harris, Monty Morris, guys who just couldn't stay healthy. Um, Boyan Bogdanovich, Alec Burks. You know, if those veterans had stayed healthy all the way through, as Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley and Tobias Harris has, I think we see something totally different. I think we see the vision and we're like, oh, I think Troy Weaver is still here. All that to say is I think this summer is about doubling down on this core. It's not about bringing in a savior. Um, it needs to be whoever we bring in needs to be someone who fits this culture, fits the culture that you want to embody. And as much as I love Malik Beasley, I'm so grateful to what they've done. Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. They've played themselves into an extension of their career. If we're 100% honest, those guys played themselves into an extension of their career. They are going to get 3 to 4 year deals because of what they did last season for us, this past season. Right. I know the playoffs are still going, but I just mean, this season because it's over for the Detroit Pistons. But I don't think that means that we need to overpay to bring them back. I don't think that we really need to bring them back. They don't really fit where we are going. They fit where we were perfectly, but we took a jump. And where we're going uh, is less about players who play on only one side of the ball, guys who have severe defensive limitations, are very one-dimensional. That's no longer what we need. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Culture fits are meaningful. Great point. They aren't just meaningful; they are empowering. They are the reason why you go deep into the playoffs. Just look at Oh, leading line. Who do we replace him with? Bro, I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that, leading lions. I'm about to dive into that. When we think about the acquisitions, let's say like the New York Knicks made, they didn't just bring in guys who were talented, right? They brought in guys who fit Tom Thibodeau. They brought in guys who fit Jalen Brunson. They brought in guys who fit the culture of who this team is. They brought in guys who were going to create a core that could endure anything, that could go through the fire together. Julius Randle is not a go through the fire type of guy. He's not. Isaiah Hartenstein was. But where they needed to match up with was, as we're seeing, against the Boston Celtics. And they saw an opportunity to bring in Mikal Bridges, and they said, we can't pass that up. As much as they loved Dante DiVincenzo, they were like, we are too small. We're too small. Jalen Brunson, and that's going to get to who we need to bring in later on. They knew that they were too small with the backcourt of DiVincenzo and Brunson. DiVincenzo's 6'3" and a half. Jalen Brunson is 6'2" and a half. That's going to be really hard going up against 6'4" Drew Holiday, 6'3", actually 6'4" Derek White, who's close to 6'5". And then you have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. You just can't go into that type of a series thinking that you can realistically compete with those guys. So they said, we're gonna go out and get OG Anunoby. We're gonna go out and get Mikal Bridges, and we're seeing it pay off. They brought in culture guys, not just guys who fit what they were going to need, but they also, you have to remember, Villanova won multiple NCAA championships with Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges. I wouldn't have been shocked if they went out and got Sadiq Bey. Don't be shocked if they trade for Sadiq Bey, y'all. I'm gonna be real. You just bring in all the Villanova boys. When you win NCAA championships, multiple, or even just one, and you can retain that chemistry of going through the fire, some of the highest leverage moments to win in the NCAA tournament, I would say is probably almost 10 times harder than the NBA. And the reason why I say that is because it's just one game. It's one game where anything can happen. Anything, which means that everybody has to step up. Your seconds in the game have to mean everything because you don't know what it could potentially mean down the road. You don't know. And so to win an NCAA championship, God, that's hella hard. You're going up against dudes who this is their moment. They are never going to the NBA. This is their moment. So for them to win, that type of chemistry is incredible. Now, let me get to my man's question. Leading Lions, who would we replace them with? Beautiful question. So this is how we have to factor this in. As good as they were for us in terms of shooting, I think we already have that replaced on this team by the shooting that is here. Meaning, I think that Jaden Ivey's 40% from the three-point line is real. I think that's real. I think you're going to be able to play him like they played Tim Hardaway Jr., except more minutes. I think he's going to be getting 30 to 35 minutes a game next year. Shooting volume, 5 to 7 threes a game, close to 40%. And the reason why I think he retains that efficiency is because he's playing off of Cade Cunningham, who draws so much defensive attention. And he's playing off of Asar Thompson, who has incredible gravity, especially as a point forward. I think Jaden Ivey's shooting continues to be efficient. So I think that bodes extremely well for the long-term shooting efficiency of this team. The next part is Cade Cunningham's. Yes. Oh, great point, Ethan. Great point, Ethan. Cade's shooting was far more efficient with Ivy on the court. If you notice, they were both able to take over for stretches of games. And when I say stretches, I mean 5 to 6 minutes at a time. That's huge. When you can take over the game, and when I say take over, I mean you are responsible for generating offense single-handedly. There were times when Cade would have a slow start, and in the second quarter, with Cade on the bench, Ivy would score 3 baskets in a row, hit a three, get out on a fast break with a steal, right? Going defense to offense, straight line drive to the rim, dunk, get to the free throw line once or twice, hitting a couple free throws, and sprinkling in 2 to 3 assists. All of a sudden, you're like, oh shit, who is this dude that just took over the game and now it's a 10-point lead? That was Ivy. Ivy is able to do that. Now, when you factor in Cade, you have two guys that are unstoppable, dominant players on the ball. And the beautiful part is they can both play off ball. Cade's efficiency goes through the roof. I wouldn't say through the roof, but it improves greatly. When you look at his shooting efficiency in the playoffs, keep in mind everyone's shooting efficiency goes down in the playoffs. And he was tired. He was exhausted. He had to carry the full load of being a dominant playmaker and playing lockdown defense. It's exhausting in the playoffs. You lose your legs, your shot becomes short, long, short, long, short, long, and eventually side to side. However, you return them both next season with a full training camp. Now they know what each other can do. There's greater chemistry. I would love to see them do the Rico Hines runs. Somebody was commenting on that on X, and I was like, yeah, Rico Hines run would be good because it's great for chemistry building. It's intense basketball, and you're learning to play off of one another. You're learning to feed off each other, and I think that those two should be able to do just that. They should be able to feed off each other. They should be able to really compete with each other. Would I want Sadiq Bey to return? Hell yeah. And let me get into my man's question, leading Lions. Who would I replace them with? I would replace Tim Hardaway Jr. first off with Jaden Ivey. Um, Jaden Ivey now is our starting lead guard. I think Cade. I think they're going to share that lead guard responsibility, um, much like a Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell type of a back and forth. But I would say neither of them is a true floor general. Cade is the higher skilled facilitator, but Jaden Ivey has just as much ability to break down a defense, just like a Donovan Mitchell. So I would replace Tim Hardaway Jr. with Jaden Ivey. Those minutes are his, and even more so, because Tim Hardaway Jr. was only getting maybe like 27, 28, 29 minutes a game. Jaden Ivey is going to be getting 35. Like, keep in mind, Ivy is working out now. While Lasar and Cade are resting, deservedly so. After that playoff run, they are resting. They should for the rest of this month. Ivy's already working out. He's already training. He's already building. He's already developing. He's already fine-tuning his game. He's seen the highlights. He has the plan with his coaches coming together saying, this is what we need. He's already in the lab. He's already in the lab. I'm expecting full bag Ivy next year. Not just shooting, but I'm talking playmaking. I'm talking shot creation. I'm talking about the floater game coming back, which I kept kind of waiting for. I think we see Ivy, like, literally, I think he's going to average about 22 to 25 points a game next season on efficiency, good efficiency. I'm talking maybe 36% from the probably close to, I would say, like 46% from the field, maybe 38, 39% from three, because his volume is going to go up to about 15 to 20 shot attempts a game. I think that's the Ivy that we see next year. So that's the first replacement for Tim Hardaway Jr. The second replacement for Malik Beasley. This is going to be a little bit tougher. I would totally bring back Lindy Waters completely. I love his game. I love how he plays off ball. He moves off ball extremely well. He plays without the ball in his hands. At 6'6", 6'7", he has more defensive versatility. He's shown good floor vision in terms of making good reads and passes when his shot is taken away, something that we almost wish Beasley was able to do a little bit more. Now, he was locked into shooting and getting downhill, and for the most part, did a great job of that for us. But what that did was it basically said for him to be effective, he has to be our de facto scorer off the bench. For him to be effective, we have to build it around him. He has to be our sixth man. And we saw in the playoffs, couldn't, you know what I mean? Like he had two good games at first game and the sixth game, but that was it. That was it. And I think that it showed his ceiling. Um, I also think Marcus Sasser is going to be a lot better. I am hopeful. I'm hopeful. You know, I am a Marcus Sasser stan. I've been on that stand on business coming out of University of Houston. He's a bucket. I followed him in the draft before the year he got drafted, where he killed it, but he got advice to go back and work on some things. So he went back to Houston, worked on those things, and was a first round pick by the Pistons at the end of the first round. I think he has a big year in year three. I think he puts it all together. I think he looks more like Peyton Pritchard for us. I think he balls out. I think he does his thing. I'm excited to see it. Which, in that case, I think next to him, you need a guard that has more size. So, guys that I've thrown out there, Lindy Waters, first and foremost, he was on this team second half of the season. He has chemistry with Cade Cunningham, played with him in Oklahoma State. Um, I think that he is going to be a good factor. He could be a great factor for us off the bench in those limited minutes and what's left over. I think he can give you in a 10 to 12-minute stint off the bench, shooting, spacing, gets out in transition. He's a dog on defense. He's versatile at 6'7" to guard multiple defenders, so we can do some more switching. And he has more facilitating ability, making good reads and passes. I mean, these are the type of guys that the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Golden State Warriors wanted, right? Make no mistake about it. Lindy Waters is getting signed next year. He's a excellent player at 28 years old. I think he's 28. So he's an older guy, still has athleticism, bounce. He just fits in a lot of systems. I think he's a better option for who we will be next season. If not that, I like guys like Marcus Smart. I like Marcus Smart. He can play next to Marcus Sasser. He's got size. He's versatile. He's also a problem solver. And I talked about this in my last video. In the playoffs, you need problem solvers, guys who know what to do. Dennis Schroeder was that for us. He was a problem solver, um, albeit, uh, had some limitations, but he played great. I don't even want to talk about the limitations because he played amazing, amazing for us. But I think with Ivy getting more minutes, Cade with his minutes, Asar Thompson, there's less backcourt bench minutes. And so you need somebody who is more versatile to play along that line of the backcourt. Meaning, hey, if we want to go small, let's say uh, put Asar at the four, Cade at the three, which we can completely do, especially next season, because I think Asar is going to come back a lot bigger, bulkier. Not bad bulk, but like strong, like 230 pounds. And I think he'll carry it well. Um, so I think he'll be able to play more four with his athleticism, timing, rebounding ability, etc. Better finishing on the interior. And so Marcus Smart could fit along that lineup as guys shift up and down. I think he has that versatility defensively, and he's a problem solver. He's been there. He's been to the NBA Finals. He's been deep in the playoffs year after year after year. He's been a defensive player of the year. He's been first team all defense. He's been somebody who can know what to do. Even at times, he could be a little trigger happy. He could be the guy who's not scared of the moment, almost to his detriment, almost like a Dylan Brooks. But you'd rather have that guy than a guy who's scared of the moment, right? I would have rather had a Marcus Smart than somebody like, if I'm honest with you, Tim Hardaway Jr. He's nowhere near the shooter Tim is, but his ability to lock down defensively and take that load off of Cade Cunningham and even Asar Thompson. Think about what Marcus Smart could have been for us guarding Jalen Brunson at the point of attack, right? Instead of Asar, now you move Asar to shut down Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, right? Now all of a sudden you insert him, how we defend along that line completely changes. Marcus Smart would be a great addition, and we would try to target him via trade. Probably package somebody like Simone Fontecchio, sign and trade with Malik Beasley, or even Tim Hardaway Jr. Right. Somebody else on that roster that I also like as a sign and trade guy could be Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton could be a great asset or piece to bringing off this bench, who's been to the promised land, has a ring, has a championship. You cannot underestimate the heart of a champion. He knows what to do in big games. Bringing him in at 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan. Imagine what he would do along that line of a Asar Thompson, right? Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey. Now all of a sudden you have a guy who knows what to do, like a Tobias Harris, but is a little bit more high end in terms of playmaking, shot creation, facilitation, who might look like the best player on the court scoring wise in a playoff game, who could get you one in the playoffs. I've seen him. I've seen Chris Middleton get Milwaukee one without Giannis against Boston, against the Miamis. I in the fire, in the playoffs. No Giannis. Chris Middleton's like, I'm gonna get us one. I'm gonna get us one game. People don't understand how special that is to have a guy who can get you a game in the playoffs in any series. I'm gonna have a game where I dominate, I have it going, and I can say, get on my back. That's rare as fuck. Straight up. That's rare as hell. If we could get somebody like that, trade some money for Tecchio, package someone else, bring him in, he could be an amazing six man for us. Amazing. Great mentor. He played for the Pistons. I believe he was drafted by the Pistons. All right. Drafted by us. Bring him on home. He could be a great pickup. Someone else that I've been looking at in terms of free agency, and then I'm going to get to draft because I definitely want to talk draft talk in this video. I like Jabari Walker. He's probably a guy that the more I look at him, the more. And if you follow me on X, I'll put my X handle down here in the description box later after I post the video. If you followed my post, I put a video on the highlights of Jabari Walker. He's a dog, first and foremost. He's an absolute dog. He's somebody who won in the trenches. He's somebody who has a lot of skill, a lot of really good size, and he plays physical on both ends of the court. Not everybody plays physical on both ends of the court, and let me explain that. There's some guys who can play great defense, but they can't necessarily play physical great defense. Think of somebody like a Herb Jones. He's quick. Dennis Schroeder, extremely quick, agile, great anticipation, quick hands. Gets his hands on a lot of loose balls, deflections, etc. Can challenge. But in the throes of a playoff game in a series where you're going blow for blow and the refs are allowing more physicality and the offensive player begins to play with more physicality, like a Jalen Brunson did, or a Josh Hart, or an OG Anunoby, and you have to match that physicality, those guys wane, those guys diminish. Somebody like a Marcus Smart, right? You think of as a physical defender. When you look at Jabari Walker and what he brings in the front court at 6'9", 240 pounds, he's not a springy athlete, but he's an extremely agile athlete who can move his feet laterally, who can switch. He can guard a little bit of a larger, small forward like a Jason Tatum in a pinch. He's not going to get burned. He's not going to be targeted. He can also guard up against a small ball center or a center who's a little bit, lighter in the pants, someone like a Evan Mobley, who's a little bit lighter, Derek Lively, right? Those guys, he can guard up. And on offense, he can score with physicality. Think Tobias Harris putting guys on his back, posting up, shooting over the top, taking you off the dribble, giving you that shoulder, bow, bouncing you off him, finishing over the top, right? Getting into the scrum to get a loose ball, to get a defensive rebound, an offensive rebound when you need it. That's what Jabari Walker is able to do. He's a great, great option for us who's an unrestricted free agent. He's someone who should not cost us a lot. That means maintaining cap flexibility while also bringing in somebody who's a great fit for the culture and the identity of this team. He's selfless. He makes good reads. He also has the ability to play in between guys, between a Duran and a Sar. Meaning he can also stretch the floor, like we're hoping Bobby Clinton does for us. But Bobby Clinton, if I'm honest, has some potential as a 3-4 versus a 4-3. I've explained this before. A 4-3 is somebody who generally starts on the interior. He's more comfortable on the interior. He gets himself going by getting on the boards, getting a tip in, getting a little pick and roll action or a dump off, catching the ball, dunking it, uh, finishing inside, and then his game stretches outside, much like a Kevin Love used to do. Then he could stretch outside and knock down threes. Bobby Clipman is kind of a guy, I think he starts on the outside. He's more comfortable starting on the outside, seeing an open three go and knock down, get out in transition, get a layup. Right. Let me get to some of these comments. Sorry, I know you guys are posting. I'm glad y'all are having a dope conversation in the chat. It's generally an interactive uh, conversation. So if you want me to stop and pause on your comment, you know what to do. Hit me with that super chat, and we'll dive in. Some of these comments. Let me see. Mike, what's good, man? What's good? Just watched Ivy highlights, and I've forgotten how much of a blur he was. People completely did. It's okay. I'll forgive you. I forgive you. Me and Ivy forgive you. You know, folks forgot, but we gonna remind y'all tomorrow. I mean, next season. You know what I mean? We gonna be reminding y'all. I'm gonna be Team Ivy flag in the ground here on the Rock Never Stops. Right. If you're enjoying the video, smash the like button. I only got 3 likes and 13 people in here. Smash the like button for me. It definitely helps out the channel, and it makes sure that my video posts to your YouTube algorithm when I'm going live. So when you like it, you tell YouTube, let me know when this guy is going live. Right? Interactive live chat. Hit me up. Uh, would you want Sadiq Bey to return? I'm gonna be honest. Tony Headhunter, my man, always with the great comments and questions. Um, I could totally see Sadiq Bey coming back. Sadiq Bey is a dog. Sadiq Bey ain't never scared. Sadiq Bey can do for you what you see Buddy Hield doing for the Golden State Warriors right now. That's who Sadiq Bey can be. I keep it a band with you. I would give up a second round draft pick to bring Sadiq Bey back. We're gonna get into the draft. I know I keep saying that. We're gonna die. I got my notes here. We're gonna get into the draft. Trust. I would give up our second round draft pick to get Sadiq Bey back. Sadiq Bey, in this playoff run, we get past the Knicks. We get past the Knicks with Sadiq Bey. Let me make that 100% clear. Shout out Troy Weaver once again, who drafted him. Even though he traded him for James Wiseman. We understand why he traded him for James Wiseman. That's beside the point. It's to say he's a dog. He's a Detroit guy. He's got chemistry. Probably wants to win. He's already under contract. So he's a great asset. Sadiq Bey at 6'8", lights out shooter. Think Buddy Hield. I know he wasn't great defensively, but I'll say this. Sometimes guys' defense is also a reflection of how good they think the team is. In other words, if we suck, why am I giving so much energy on defense? Because that's not going to get me signed for another contract. And if everyone else on this roster is not playing great D, why am I playing great D and no one else is? Now, I know that's problematic because it's like, yo, you should be playing defense no matter what. But that's just a reality of the NBA. In 82 game season, it is hard to maintain defensive intensity. That's why certain guys are just not built like that, and some guys are. So when you have a coach who can create that team identity, like a JB Bickerstaff, to get buy-in on defense, you keep him around. You keep him around. So when we see our team right now, we see what these guys are doing. I think it's a beautiful thing to acknowledge that we have the type of culture that can bring in and sway people to be their best self. We can sway guys like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, who are not known for their defense, are not. Let's be clear. Those two have never been known for defense. They have never played as hard of defense consistently over the course of a season as they have with the Detroit Pistons. So we can absorb a guy who doesn't necessarily play on both ends. But Sadiq Bey would be an incredible pickup for us. He's younger. He's also not scared of the Villanova boys. I'm not saying we were. I'm also saying because he played with them, won a championship with them. Oh, he's ready to go to war against them. He can't wait because they all probably got a group chat talking shit to each other. And at 6'8", his versatility to play up and down the line, power forward, small forward, shooting guard, his ability to use that length, that size, coming in off the bench. I think he's so much better than Simone Fontecchio. So much better. Everything that we would have hoped Simone Fontecchio would have been, what we saw from last season, Sadiq Bey is that in spades. Way better. Shout out to my spades players out there. Sadiq Bey is so much better. So when I think about this offseason, we have a lot of options, but it should be built on our culture. It should be built on our culture, on our identity. Don't bring in nobody like a Julius Randle, who's not about team, who's not about fitting in, who's not about, hey, I play for my guys. I dive on the loose balls. I box out. I'm doing the little things for the guy next to me in the trenches. That's not who he is. I'm not mad that everybody's not everything, but we don't need guys who are not a part of this culture or identity. If that isn't who you've been all along, we don't need to bring you in here. We don't need to bring you in here. Now, it's time to get to this draft. Let me get to some of these comments really quick. Um, yeah, we don't want to see Fontecchio back. Look, Fontecchio's going to have a bounce back year. He's going to have a bounce back year. He's in a contract year. He's going to bounce back. So bet on that. NBA players play great in a contract year. But if I can get Sadiq Bey instead of him, hell yes. Hell yes. Throw in our second round draft pick. I'm doing it. Big fan of Ivy. Put together the bag. Seems more straight. Yeah, yep. Shot creation. Yep. Let me see. Fairness. Fontega's come off injury. I totally get that too, Ethan. Great point. That isn't lost on me. That's not lost on me. But I think defensively, um, Simone had just too many limitations. Way too many limitations. And for where we are going, we have to have guys who are versatile up and down the line. Guys have to be versatile up and down the line. Um, when they weren't shooters. Yeah, leading Lions. Oh man, y'all got mad comments. It's hard to get to all these comments. Sorry, y'all. Like I said, if you drop the super chat, I will get to your comment immediately. But great conversation going on in the chat. This is definitely an interactive live. Um, my man Tony J dropping the super chat. Appreciate you, brother. Um, Dorian Finney-Smith and Sadiq Bey fit more the archetype size-wise of who I want behind Tobias Harris than Bobby Portis. I agree. We can also get a third big. Okay, so this is a great point that you bring up, Tony. It's a great point before we transition into the draft talk. Um, when it comes to what we need off the bench, you see that versatility is king. Versatility is king. And what I mean by that is that you never know who you're going to be facing in the playoffs. You don't know. And so having the pieces that you can mix and match, and slide up and down the lineup, whether it's into a shooting guard position or a power forward position, right? Whether it's to the center position or the small forward, going small, going big, having that versatility is huge. You cannot understate that. And so a Dorian Finney-Smith, um, and Sadiq Bey fit the profile. What they also give you the ability to do, especially Sadiq Bey, is it allows you to play Ron Holland at the 2 off the bench. I mean, I already brought up guys like Marcus Smart. Um, but having size in the backcourt off the bench, that ability can make your team scary. We think about what people bring in off the bench. Peyton Pritchard, TJ McConnell, guys who are 6'3", guys who are 6'2", 6'1". They bring in a lack of size off the bench, which means you can hit the offensive glass, you can smother their shooters, you can score more effectively in transition, you can get second chance shots, offensive rebounds, you can get more deflections. You can switch more on defense. You're going to be a better defensive rebounding team. You have a greater ability to trap and defensive schemes, which gives more flexibilities for X's and O's. Right? I can go all up and down the line of the potential benefits of having size off the bench in your backcourt. In your backcourt. So sliding Ron Holland to the two, along with, let's say, a wing like Sadiq Bey or even Dorian Finney-Smith, what that provides you with is the ability to situate your roster to fit your competition. Imagine if we were bringing Dorian Finney-Smith off the bench against the Knicks. And I'm going to keep using the Knicks because the Knicks are looking like, man, the team to freaking beat. They are looking like the team to beat. Who would have thought? I didn't think Kristaps Porzingis' injury would have been that big of a hit, and Sam Hauser and guys like that. But the reality is, they've just locked down Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I know it seems like something that should be something that we already acknowledge we can do because we did it to them in Boston. We went into Boston. Remember? Remember? Yeah, Tony. Length helps our bigs. Hell yeah. And I've been talking about that. We lack size on the interior. Jalen Duren's 6'10". He's not 6'10". So when we think about size, we have to contend with we need people who can provide that supplementary length and size on the interior because we lack it. So you need length. But let's keep in mind if we were bringing in Dorian Finney-Smith to guard OG Anunoby, especially when Asar Thompson got into foul trouble, to guard Brunson, to guard Bridges, to not let these guys get off, to add that physicality, that toughness. I've been to the NBA Finals. I've been with championship expectations. That's what Dorian Finney-Smith brings. Sadiq Bey, his shooting, his shooting alone at 6'8" with that versatility. Imagine you got Sadiq Bey and Malik Beasley off the bench with Dennis Schroeder. How much space and width you have. Like these things are incredibly important. These things provide you with an opportunity to match up in an incredible way. But yeah, Tony. Yeah, Tony. That was a great comment. Great comment. I gotta get into this draft talk because I gotta get on out of here soon. Um, we got to build off of the identity of this team. And once again, smash the like button for me. When you hit the like button, you tell the algorithm on YouTube that you want to be notified when I have my next live. And so you can get in here early because this is an interactive chat. Dwight Jeffries, I think it's the first time I seen you in there, brother. It's good to have you. What the fuck? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Somebody boot him. Remove. I will report you, but I ain't got that much time. I don't play with that. Like I said, that was funny. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just report you too while I'm here. Let's get into this draft. Let's get into this draft. Um, so when we look at this draft, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential. Um, there are a lot of talented players who have the ability to add to what we have. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of guys who are at the end of the first round, and this is the main point I want to make. There are a lot of guys who are at the end of the first round who are going to fall into the beginning of the second round because there are guys who people are not recognizing are great talents. And as workouts begin, they're going to be high risers. Guys like Maxime Reynaud out of Stanford, 7-footer. Think Lauri Markkanen. That's who he is. Played 4 years at Stanford. He's seasoned. He's going to come in ready to go. He can probably be a plug and play center in the NBA. Extremely athletic. Started playing ball later in his development, and so he was actually a swimmer. My man, who does Locked On NBA basketball, uh, what's his name? Him and his brother have a podcast. I always forget their name. Locked On NBA Big Board, something like that. Um, they just did an interview with him, and he used to be a swimmer. And what doing different sports. Tim Duncan used to be a swimmer too. Keep that in mind. Doing other sports, cross training your body allows your body to develop in a way that gives you more physical capabilities. You look at guys like uh, Hakeem Olajuwon, soccer, of course, stuff like that. But you look at Zach Edey, started playing later, used to play hockey and soccer coming out of Canada, and then he grew and then he started playing basketball later, right? So it allows you to sustain yourself physically, especially for 7 footers. And when you stay off for years, you come in with a different level of confidence in terms of what your game is and how you're going to dominate. He's a double double machine. Let me just be clear. 2 weeks ago, he was in the second round. He was listed in the second round. Right now, they have him up to the number 12 pick. I think he might end up being top 10. So you see different things like that are going to happen that are going to push guys down and allow other guys to rise, which means that we have to look for our draft positioning from the end of the first round to the beginning or mid of the second round in terms of our potential of what we could bring in. As I said before, whoever we bring in needs to fit our culture. Um, with that said, there's some guys that I want to point out. One dude who may drop, Asa Newell. I know he was a top guy in his high school class. I think when workouts start, he's going to get exposed. He's shorter, Derek Lively, not as skilled, and teams are going to wonder about how he can fit. I think he would fit well with us. I think we could move up to get him. I think he could play a solid role, um, like a taller Paul Reed with a better looking jump shot, a little bit more athleticism, but a bit one dimensional. A few other guys that I want to point out, and I'm not going to point out guys that I don't think will even be available to us that I think for sure are going to be in the first round. I'm gonna point out guys who might drop into the second round into our laps at pick number 37. I like where is he at? Cam Jones out of Marquette. Cam Jones out of Marquette. Cam Jones is a do-it-all lead guard. 6'5", tough as nails. He's physical. Uh, he became a high-level playmaker, facilitator for his team. He was the leader of that team. All-American, I believe. At 200 pounds, he has the physical girth. Think Marcus Smart, uh, but with a little bit more finishing and scoring ability. But he has great size and versatility. Who could drop in this draft and be a great pickup for us. But now let me go to the guys in the second round who I think are going to drop for us. All right. Uh, oh, I watch a commercial. 1 second. Had these notes on here. Let this play out real quick. Who do y'all think that we should draft? Holler at me in the comment section while I let this pop up. Um, close. I did not. These commercials. All right. Boom. Here we go. Okay. So you got guys like Adu Thero out of Arkansas, 6'8" athlete. Um, think what's his name? Tari Eason. Think Tari Eason. That's who Adu Thero can be for us. Great versatility in terms of defensive capability. And remember, when we don't have Asar Thompson out there, our defense suffers. We don't have a lockdown guy. I think Ron Holland can become that for us off the bench, but it would be great to have insurance. It would be great to have insurance. If we had had a wing defender with his capability in the first half of the season, when Asar was still out, that could have made a huge difference for us as well. Another guy that I like, Ryan Kalkbrenner. Look, I love Tolu Smith. You guys know I do. Got love for him. Pacific Islander brother. Uh, Came in, played for Mississippi State. He's about 6'11" and 3/4. He's basically a 7-footer, 260 pounds. He's built. Short wingspan, though. Only a 7-foot wingspan. I was shocked by that. But shows decent finishing, really good footwork on the interior, but knows how to throw his weight around in a way that I think we wish Duran would. But he played well for us in the G League. I like him. Ethan, Danny Wolf. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a fan of his game. But if he falls to us at 37, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I don't think he falls out of the first round, but if he does, I'm not mad. He's from the area, went to Michigan. We've had decent luck with Michigan guys, Tim Hardaway Jr. Um, I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that. 7-footer, shows some playmaking, shot creation, shooting ability. Could be a huge upgrade over Simone Fontecchio. I think if we were to draft someone like Danny Wolf, we could trade Fontecchio for someone like a Marcus Smart and just presume that we're going to plug him in. Um, yeah, mocks have him in the lottery, so I don't think he's going to drop to 37. But if he did, I wouldn't be mad at that. Someone else that I also like. Where's he at? Oh yeah, Ryan Kalkbrenner. That was the point about Tolu Smith. If Tolu Smith, if they don't believe in him, because their scouting team, you have to recognize the NBA scouting teams also scout their own guys. So they've scouted their G League team. If the G League guys have not proven that they're going to be worthwhile to bring up, they will draft over them. Period. And they'll figure it out someplace else. Remember, we are no longer in the developmental stage. If you're not ready, we are moving on. This is playoffs, playoffs, playoffs. That is what we are building for. If you can't help us win in the playoffs, we're probably looking past you. So if they are not sold on Tolu Smith being that guy, I like Ryan Kalkbrenner. The reason why, 7'1", these are like a 7'4", 7'5" wingspan, which matters in terms of rim protection. But he was multiple time defensive player of the year in his conference. Being a defensive player of the year in your conference is no laughing matter, is no short accomplishment. It is no small thing. If you are a defensive player of the year for your conference in college multiple times, you are going to be a high level defender in the NBA. Period. Period. It's mental. It's mental, it's mindset, it's culture, it's identity. It's who you are. You're going to defend at a high level. His ability to know how to jump straight up and wall somebody up with his verticality at 7'1" is huge. Even if he doesn't have the elite athleticism to climb the rafters like a Dwight Howard, you knowing where to be and being able to be in that spot early, you being a great help defender, you communicating well on the back line, your ability to move your feet smart, even with your limitations athletically, your ability to secure defensive rebounds. I would not be shocked if Ryan Kalkbrenner ends up in the first round at all. Do not be shocked if he ends up in the first round. His ability on defense alone, and he has improved his offense. He knows what he can do on offense. He knows how to be effective on offense. I don't think he's ever going to be a 20-plus point a game scorer, not even maybe 15. But he could be a guy like a Mason Plumlee. He could be a guy potentially like a Steven Adams, less athletic. Steven Adams now. He could be a guy like, what's the center for the Los Angeles Clippers? Right? Like he's the type of center that winning teams who are in the playoffs, who happen to have a draft pick at the end of the first round, will target. If he slips to 37, he would be great for us if we're not sold on Tolu Smith. A couple other guys I want to point out. Um, Let me see. I did like Tyrese Proctor, but he's giving me Killian Hayes vibes, and I don't trust it. And he's too light in the pants. I need more physicality. So the guy who I'm gonna tell us to focus on, where is he at? Chaz Lanier, 6'5", shooting guard out of Tennessee. Excellent shooter. Excellent shooter. Um, he's gonna remind a lot of us of uh, what's his name for the Memphis Grizzlies. Um, you guys know my mind be slipping my mind. It's been an hour on here, y'all. So forgive me. My mind is not as sharp as I wish it was. He's gonna remind us of the shooting guard out of Memphis. An absolute lights out shooter, reliable, moving off the ball. Um, he's gonna be able to light it up. Coming out of the University of Tennessee, you know he's gonna be tough. He's gonna be physical. He's been a leader, a captain of his team. He's been the guy his team has had to rely upon, which means he's not scared of the moment. He's not someone who's going to shy away from the moment. This is a big difference. That's why I love 3, 4 year guys who come out of the NCAA who have had the opportunity to dominate in the NCAA. When you've dominated at any level, your confidence is way higher in what you do well. Chaz Lanier is someone who can come in. Desmond Bain, that's what I'm thinking of. He can come in and do a Desmond Bain, maybe a poor man's Desmond Bain. That value off the bench is huge. He can come in off the bench and light they asses up. He won't be scared of the moment. He'll know what to do in high leverage situations because he's been the guy before. He's someone who can come in and immediately fill the void of shooting, having just a dead eye shooter off the bench. Yeah, I'm big on guys who are captains and leaders on their teams. Facts. Facts. Because that is what playoff basketball is all about. Leadership. It's all about guys who have an identity, whether it's defense, physicality, a high motor, playing with tenacity, guys who can be floor generals, guys who you know what you're going to get from them. That's what this team needs. No longer the potential guy, and I'm saying all that right now because then I'm going to hit you with one more guy and then you're going to be like, bro, I thought you said no more potential guys. But this, you're going to get. I'm gonna loop it in and then we're gonna hop off. If you want me to get to your comment, definitely throw in a super chat. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this up. Um, you see, Ethan. I'm just going to be a bit disappointed if the pick is another player that has a shot that needs development. No, it won't be. A center wouldn't need a shot, but that's about it. Yeah, no facts. The next guy I want to bring up, who I actually like a lot, and I'm going to explain it to you. Well, they have Cedric Howard here, but he's going to be a first round pick. Cedric Howard is a first round pick player. There's no way he's falling. If he falls to us at 37, oh my God, grab him. 6'7", 6'6", 6'7" guard. When I say guard, I say hard at guard because of his ball handling, playmaking, shot creation, elite shot creation, 7-foot wingspan. You can play up and down the line from small forward, shooting guard, maybe even eventually some small ball power forward. He's about 200 pounds, 210. Like he's got great size, plays with physical strength, has a great game. There's no way he falls in the second round. If he does, grab him. Grab him. But the guy that I want to point out is Dink Pate. Dink Pate reminds us of a Thero. A little bit lighter, but his athleticism, his speed, his length, his motor will remind a lot of us of Ron Holland or someone like Bilal Koulibaly. He fits that profile. Coming out of the G League Ignite program, and it's no longer the G League Ignite, but the G League Ignite, the G League team that used to be for the Ignite. That's who he played for. I believe for 2 years. Um, Still only 19 years old. Uh, Great speed, athleticism, great in the open court, has some playmaking ability in the open court. Um, Once again, similar to Adu Thero, he is someone who can give us that perimeter defensive versatility as insurance with Asar Thompson. So that if he should, knock on wood, roll an ankle or something happens, you have someone you can plug in who can be that versatile wing defender. Ron Holland will also be that for us more next year as well. But I like having depth at that position because as you see, the New York Knicks, a whole bunch of wings. You see Boston Celtics, a whole bunch of wings. You see these other teams out there. You are going to have to match up along the perimeter with versatility. Having another 6'8", 7-foot wingspan athlete who can get out in transition, defend multiple positions is a real skill, especially when they have a high motor and a defensive acumen. These are guys that you just can't get enough of. And if they have a definable skill, which for Dink Pate is his ability to get downhill, similar to Ron Holland, and make the correct read, similar to Ron Holland, you can't have enough of those guys. But that's where I'm going to start us. This is where I'm starting us with the draft. It's not going to be the end of the draft talk. This is the start. This is the start. But hey, I got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody who came on here, showed me love. Tony with the super chat. Shout out to you, my man. I appreciate you always. Um, yeah, no more smallish guards besides Sasser. Yeah, we'll keep Sasser as our Peyton Pritchard, but everyone else need to have size. With that, it's your man, 100 grand, Ross with The Rock Never Stops. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all for showing up, showing out in the chat. Y'all chopping it up there. Great conversation. Detroit Pistons basketball, The Rock Never Stops. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. It tells YouTube that you want to be notified the next time I do my interactive lives. So smash the like button for me. I appreciate all the love and support. Subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. I'm going to get at y'all next time. Peace.